Hi and welcome to Framed. Let's play with the focus on cinematography. My name's Aubrey and I'm going to be your host. Today we're playing Uncharted 4, Chapter 9, for those who prove worthy. As always, there's going to be spoilers in this chapter, so if you haven't played Uncharted 4, I highly recommend doing so. I hope you rate, review, and subscribe. So right off the bat, we get that imagery of Memento Mori again, with the skeletons and the just general imagery of death. If we didn't get that before in previous chapters with in Italy, we definitely get that imagery now.
That bridge is about as safe as the others. It's okay, it's holding. Come on.
These bridges are clearly not built to code.
Sure they are. The pirate code.
Ha 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 ha. Not bad. Oh no. I still have rocks in my shoes from the last 10 slides.
Okay. Whew. I'm a pro at this by now.
So, did two build this place with Avery? I can't make sense of it.
Neither can I. If Avery's trying to hide his treasure, why involve another pirate?
Maybe he saw him as a part of his crew. Maybe he sent him one of those St. Dismas crosses.
Yeah, maybe two took all the treasure for himself.
Please don't say that.
Well, we're gonna find out soon enough.
Well, we're not going back that way.
At least we didn't get dropped in a pit or something.
So right away you will see again a lot of death imagery. I like the light above as well as these skeleton Grim Reapers below, because the light sort of is ethereal, represents heaven, and those skeletons below were literally holding sides. Now Nate literally has to come to grips with death. He has to hold Death's hand, and then he takes the time to look at the skeleton hand just about here. Yeah. And he has to, he tosses it aside very casually, as Nate does. He faces near-death situations with a lot of levity most of the time. So I think that's just in his character. But it definitely is interesting to see him confront death.
Nathan, look. I think you got it.
So even when water isn't apparent in a body of water like an ocean or a river, it is still an integral part of this plot and towards their salvation and their journey. So right now it is a bucket that they have to use to fill with water to proceed to the next part. But that theme of water is continuing
I didn't know
throughout
about
this game.
St. Dismas, whom I bet Avery and all of his crew were intimately familiar with.
Not that hard of a test.
Maybe it's not the only one.
There's a low ceiling here. Watch it.
Watch my
You need me to slow down for you? This way. Maybe through here.
So we can hear them right before we see them, but there are two rats, and notice now there are two brothers. Before in Panama there were rats. There were three rats actually in the Panama jail in the flashback. And Nate, there's two ahead and then one lagging, just like how Nate and Rafe were running ahead and Sam was lagging behind a little bit. Now there are two rats just exploring this corridor just as Nate and Sam are exploring it. So I think Uncharted is making an explicit comparison between Nate and Sam and thieves and rats. So it's interesting.
That makes sense. We're under a cathedral.
Hey, hold up. What? Listen.
Anything noteworthy by the dormitories?
Not unless you count some cleverly worded headstones.
Have you finished digging by the chapter house?
We have, ma'am. The northwest sites are wide open as well.
And what about the southern perimeter?
Not yet. It'll take us a day to move the crane over there.
Nadine,
Make it happen. In the meantime, see what you can dig up without it.
I'll send a couple of men over right away.
Good. Rafe, any luck with those manuscripts?
can we have a minute?
Keep me updated.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you hear? They found a whole annexed area under the cathedral.
I did. Have you seen it?
No? Why?
Because there wasn't much left after they'd finished finding it.
My men have been a bit liberal with the
They're like
dynamite.
100 well-armed bulls in a china shop.
But they've made more progress in 2 days than we've made in months.
Progress. I can't analyze rubble.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll let them know they need to give you a heads up before they do anything drastic.
Or you can tell them to sit tight until I analyze the few clues that haven't been blown up.
No, we can't sit around waiting any longer.
All due respect, I think I have a bit more experience with this sort of thing than you do.
We tried things your way.
Bullshit. You've been wanting to level this place ever since we got here.
No! I wanted to steal that cross long before it ever even made it to that auction. The same auction where I couldn't have my men around to deal with any surprises.
The auction was the cleanest way
But
to get the
instead
cross.
of going with my gut, I listened to you. And now we have competition.
Oh, well, I didn't think he'd show up.
Or maybe you wanted to draw him out.
Why the hell would I do that?
Because you think you need him. And maybe you do. Point is, I'm done trying to do things the clean way. If the treasure is here, we'll find it. And if not, well... maybe it's time to move on, huh? Hey. It's not personal.
Of course.
I'll let you know if anything turns up.
Let's get moving before they blow that treasure to bits.
Oh, stop making out.
Hey, wait. You think she was right, though? About what? About Rafe wanting to draw you out. As long as he doesn't get the upper hand, who cares? Doesn't matter.
So I find these two figures interesting. They're two fallen figures, just like their two brothers, and they're both leaning on each other. And I think it's sort of relevant to what the brothers are facing right now. Both brothers depend on each other and they lean on one another, but they also are facing different directions. So Nate thinks this treasure hunt is for his brother to save his life, while Sam knows that this is just for the pure adventure of it. So I find that very interesting, these figures.
Well, can't go through there.
So how do we get through?
Over here.
Look at that.
This place wasn't completely falling apart. We'd probably be trapped again.
Nathan, look around you.
Holy crap. This must have been another test, but it all just crumbled into the ocean.
Well, I guess the test now is... how the hell do we get to the other side?
So I find it interesting that these figures, looming figures of death, are literally looming over Nate on either side. There's this duality that's present in all of Uncharted, whether it be literal statues lining the walls or the colors, blue and orange. This idea of duality and this choice, these choices is present throughout the whole game. If you do one thing, then the other happens.
It's another cross. At least this one has some jewels on it, right?
Whoa,
And I
don't...
find it interesting that right in front
Why?
of the cross that represents
Look at it.
greed, Sam goes right for
Most
it.
valuable thing we've seen in
And
this cave.
Nate is standing in front of
Right.
the side that
This is another
represents,
test.
not greed, whatever
Greed.
the word for that is.
Lack
So I think it
thereof.
shows the duality in the brothers' inherent
Okay,
natures.
so-
Sam's greedy for treasure, in part because he hasn't had any
It's gotta
throughout
be
his
the
whole life.
coins.
He's been denied freedom for 15 years.
Sure about
And
this?
Nate isn't. But Nate brings him over
pretty
the side of the quote-unquote good.
Pretty
So
sure we'll have to do.
that's very interesting.
Just one now.
Greed. I got it. Please don't be a trap.
And as I mentioned just before with duality, and as I've mentioned through almost every chapter of this game, the blue and orange divide literally happens once again. So the brothers are awash in orange when they
Recognize the
discover
shape?
where the
It's
next part of the
Madagascar.
treasure and the next part of the adventure is in Madagascar.
Look.
Star right here.
It's King's Bay.
Yes, it is.
So here you're going to notice that Sam is going to do a coin flip, one of many actually, in coming
screwing with
chapters.
us.
But a coin flip is also a representation of duality.
He's
It's a
screwing
50-50
with
chance,
us.
heads or tails,
This was
as we all know.
supposed to be it, so where's the goddamn
and
treasure?
that
Huh?
idea that it's either
I mean, King's Bay, great.
life
but
or
what's
death,
next?
good or bad,
Pole?
these sort of
Outer
two
space?
polar opposites is continued in many
Nathan.
ways in this game. So I find that interesting that they
Those who
continue
prove
it
worthy.
not only through their color schemes, orange and blue, not only through statues, but
ways.
now through coin toss and how the characters act.
He was recruiting.
Who was recruiting?
Avery was recruiting.
Recruiting for what?
Now here's the looming figure of Nadine. Literally, it was in shadow.
You
now
gentlemen are
approaches.
very, very noisy.
Look
Guns
how
on the floor.
powerful they make Nadine.
Slowly. Must have known you from last time.
Throw me out a window didn't do it for you?
Rafe. Rafe, come in.
I'm at the graveyard. Nadine, hey, we're here.
And it's right here
I'm
you can
looking at them
see
right now.
that the brothers figure out where the divide
Where?
is, literally
Come back to
from
the
the
cathedral.
ground crumbling beneath
Follow the
them.
holes.
I'm on my way.
And they exchange silent
God's sake,
glances
don't
to
shoot
tell
'em
one
yet.
another.
Not want to hurry
You can
them.
also see it in the light, literally, that divides so clearly.
King's Bay.
Nadine's awash in that
Yeah,
orange
but,
treasure, but also you could say in
where
that
in
green.
Kings
And while the
Bay?
brothers are still awash in it, they're kind of in the cooler
We need
section
that
right
cross
now,
over there to figure it out, but
on the other side,
there's only
where they
two
can
people
think
that can tell you how to
rationally
use it.
Let me guess. You two.
and not be overcome by those strong emotions.
I'll leave it to
like
Rafe.
Nadine
You're
is
gonna
at
be
the
waiting a
moment.
long time.
Sorry, boys. I'm not here to negotiate. Bring me the crucifix.
It's not a crucifix.
What?
Well, technically, a crucifix refers to a cross that... You know what? Never mind.
Don't touch it!
Get out of there! I'll cover you!
On it! I'm okay! Get off this thing! Now's my chance! Come on!
Like that? Hey, stay there.
Much for you!
What's the plan?
I'm working on it.
So you'll notice the scene looks and feels familiar. Nate is being plunged into the ocean while guns are blazing after him, just like he was in Panama right after Sam quote-unquote died. Now he has been with him, but Nate and Sam are in this ocean, that representative journey to go and venture forth and find treasure.
That was a close one, huh?
They shot up my goddamn plane, Nate.
We're fine, thanks.
How soon can you get us to Madagascar?
No treasure, then.
Not yet.
I don't know what you're talking about. Look, we're rich.
Jesus. Suppose it's a start. You think the rest is in Madagascar?
Well, there was a chamber back there with a giant map of Madagascar on the floor, so... yeah, it's probably there.
This is beginning to smell a whole lot like Wild Goose, kid.
Look, the treasure was never in Scotland, okay?
Then what was the point of all that, huh? Of the St. Dismas
Look,
cross?
it's like I said. I think Avery was recruiting people. The cross was an invitation. The caves were just some sort of initiation.
Oh, so we all passed, huh? Congrats, Victor. We get eye patches and parrots now.
I don't get it. Why the hell would they go to all that bother just to weed people out?
To protect himself. Look, Avery was the most wanted man in the world at that time. He had to enlist people that he could trust in order to keep their treasure secret.
What do you mean, their treasure?
Just think about this. Thomas, too, was a successful pirate in his own right. What would he possibly stand to gain from joining Avery? I think Avery sent out crosses only to the other wealthy pirates like himself. What if they pooled and hid all their treasure together?
That would make the Gunsway all look like chump change.
Exactly.
Oh, holy shit. Okay, so where exactly in Madagascar are we going?
Kings Bay. It was an old pirate haven back in Avery's time.
I know it well. It's a big place. Anything more specific?
Well, that map chamber completely caved in, so, you know. What are you laughing about?
The people who survived the caves, the recruits. What's the one thing they would have left with?
There's a volcano on this.
There's a volcano near Kings Bay. Which means we need to get a move on.
Hey. Hey, Nate.
Hi, honey.
Oh, hi. I've been trying to get a hold of you. Are you okay?
Yeah, of course. What do you mean?
Well, you know, the news. There's been all that flooding. Maybe going to Malaysia during the monsoon season wasn't such a good idea.
Yeah, right. Right, yeah, it grounded us for sure. You know, had some equipment failure, but, you know, no one's hurt or anything.
Well, as long as you guys are safe. So, are you going to start work tomorrow?
Postponed, actually. Looks like we're gonna need maybe another 10 days or so.
Ugh, 10 days. Hey, well, why don't I just go ahead and buy a ticket then?
You know, you don't have to do that. It's fine. I mean, you know, these guys always overestimate things. I'm sure it'll be less time than that.
Okay, well, you know, don't rush. Make sure that you're safe.
Oh, I will. Always do. Listen, I'm sorry. I gotta go. Jameson's calling me over.
Okay.
I love you.
Love you too.
That's where I'm going to end it for this week. Thank you for watching. I hope you rate, review, and subscribe. I hope to see you next week as well. Bye.